And now, since we have studied about variability and where the statistics can be applied, there are few important terms that we have to remember always. They are population. Whenever we talk about statistics, population and sample, these are like two very very important terms that we have to always remember. So population, what is population of? So population is like all things that we are interested in. We are interested in. So basically the entire population or your entire data set can be considered as your population. Sample is like subset of population. Sample is a subset of population. When now let's take an example. For instance, if I have to conduct a study on population of Asia, so let's say population of Asia is how much? Around 4.8 billion. Now, if I have to conduct a survey where I have to know the preferences of people, whether they are smokers or non-smokers. So conducting a survey with this vast population 4.8 billion is almost like an impossible task. So in this case, how do we proceed? That is like population we know, but still we cannot do anything with respect to this. So what we will do, we will go with sample. So here we will conduct surveys in all the Asian countries, India, China, South Korea, and whatnot. Here we will take the samples. So in all these countries, the samples would be taken. Now, if we see like India and China on the population size, they are like the biggest contributor to this population size. So the sample must be like true representation of the actual as well. So the sample size should be higher from India, higher from China, and relatively lower as the population is. So that is how we are going to, and for a study, maybe we can assume a sample size of 100 million. So based on the proportion of the population in the country, we are going to choose a sample size, conduct a survey, find out the values, and whatever estimates we get, they can be extrapolated to get the population estimates. So that is the importance of sample. If our population is like small, when your population small, use as is. For instance, if you're doing some survey in a college, like 500,000 students or whatever, that case no need to go for a sample size, because sample size is an estimate, it is not the true value. Population will always represent a true value, but due to the challenges with respect to the size of the data in the population, we always prefer going with the sample size. There is a slight difference in the formulas when we have to do the statistics with respect to the population or the sample size, and they vary. In the upcoming videos, we are going to talk about those as well. Now, how do we choose a sample? So, I mean, here we are just covering in theory in this video. In all subsequent videos, they would be problem based. Enough of numericals we will solve to understand each topic in detail. Now, how do we choose a sample? It must be random. So, first and foremost, like very important thing, the sample size must be random. It must be large enough. For instance, for a population of 100 billion, if you take a sample of 10,000, you would be able to make some estimate, but that would not be any representation of the population. So large sample sizes required. Okay, must be the true representation, must be unbiased, and each entity must have representation, must have a representation, yeah, and it has to be unbiased. Okay, so these are the three things when we start with statistics. Variability, that is the only place you are going to apply statistics. You should be aware of what population is, what sample size is. Population provides you the true value, sample provides you the estimate value. How do we choose a sample? There in upcoming videos we are going to cover each of these in detail, but to understand the basics, this is how we have to proceed. Thank you.